Less than a year ago, Starling Games came out with what might be the best accumulation of games and expansions ever in the Everdell Complete Collection, with amazing deluxeifications, a great all-in-one box, all the expansions there, super pretty, just one of the best releases of all time.
But look at the box, John. Farshore is here. Look at the box.
Farshore is here, and it is a pretty box. We'll be back in a sec to talk to you about it. Hey there, folks. I'm John.
I'm Jeff.
And welcome back to Chits and Cardboard. Today we are taking a look at Everdell Farshore. Everdell Farshore is a follow-up to the game Everdell that kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think the board gaming world expected it. It was kind of a last-minute announcement, and all of a sudden it was in stores and people were rushing to get it.
Yeah.
I know the first real availability of it was at Gen Con where we got it. It is a worker placement tableau building game, much like its older brother, I guess. It plays in about an hour. It's designed by James and Clarissa Wilson and published by Starling Games. Yeah, I think that's most of the specs.
Today we're going to try and give you guys a bit of an overview, compare it to Everdell, the original, and try and steer you guys to see whether it would be a good purchase and investment for you.
Absolutely. And Everdell is one of my top 10 games of all time, so I'll definitely be comparing to the original and just kind of seeing, if it's worth a purchase or not.
In Farshore, there's been a bunch of changes from the original Everdell. First off, we're going to start talking about the map.
Yeah, so on the outside of the map, you're going to notice a new track with a bunch of boats. That's a new shared track that you can progress upon for endgame scoring. The way you earn points on that track is by playing cards into your city that match a public objective that's available to you each season.
Another big change that I'm really happy about, it's not that huge of a change, but you actually can stack your cards in the bay. In the meadows in the original Everdell, you can have multiples. You can have up to 3 or 4 of the same card in the meadow, which was really frustrating and limiting for your options. But in the bay, anytime you pull a card that is already there and present, you just stack them up and you draw an extra card. So you have 8 full different options.
Exactly. Events from the original game were also replaced by the map tiles in Farshore. You can earn the map tile by having a certain number of the same type of card in your city and then placing a worker on the dunes location, which is at the top of the board.
As you progress around the track on the outside of the board as well, as you score points on the outside, you also pick up treasure, and you can either keep those treasure pieces to the end of the game and you're going to score 2 points in addition to whatever else you've scored. But also you can use that as a wild resource, which is really, really useful sometimes when you just need that extra little thing. So you're sacrificing a couple points, but you're getting whatever resource you're in need of.
Yeah, so I mean, those are the basic differences. As far as the actual player area is concerned, there's a lot more differences as well. Firstly, the locations don't have a matching critter. So locations are instead kind of suited by their colors, and I'm using air quotes on suited. So if you have a green location and you'd like to play a green critter, you just have to use one of 3 anchors available to you for the whole game, put it on the location, and then play the critter for free, or just pay the critter's cost. It's a 3 and done kind of situation.
It really changes things up from the original Everdell because when I was playing, I would always find that I was like really hunting for that one specific card. But now when you have a critter that you really want to play, all you need is one of your constructions, one of your buildings that isn't occupied already, and you can play your anchor on it and match it up. So any critter can go with any location as long as they're the same type.
Yeah, and that really does change the game. So we had a moment in the game we just played where we just finished a game where I had a purple, like a luxury, I forget what they're called, building, a unique construction of some sort, like one of the fancy unique constructions. And I could just take one of the best cards that had just come up, a purple critter that was really, really valuable just because I had the anchor at the time. Moments like that feel really satisfying.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, another thing that changes for the players is resources. So first off, the resources are different. They're kind of the same, but they're different. So stone was replaced by sea stones. Resin was replaced by seaweed. Wood was replaced with driftwood. And then the blueberries were replaced by mushrooms. But resources in general are very, very scarce, and cards in general are very plentiful. So you're getting a lot less resources over time, and you're basically, you have cards that give you effects that would gain you or give you access to more resources than you should have. So the balance has kind of been shifted from the resources to the cards a little bit, which takes the balance out of the worker placement and into the city building.
Yeah, in this game, there's a lot less options around the map. So it really does, like you were saying, restrict you on the amount of resources that you can get. You're relying on your cards a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be back to tell you about our thoughts. That's just a basic overview of kind of how the game has changed with some B-roll that I'm hoping is helpful. We'll be back in a second, So we just finished a 3-player game of Everdell, and I don't know, I'm not sold. I don't think you need this game. I think if you have the base Everdell, you might be better off just buying New Leaf or an expansion.
Picking up some of the expansions.
You prefer.
Yeah.
If you have the collector's edition, I think there's a case to be made about this one's a lot more portable.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think it's necessary. What do you think?
I liked it. I haven't played Everdell as much as you. I only have the base game. Purchase, honestly, right now, I have the original Everdell. I'm not going to be picking this up. You have it. So, yeah, it's not going to be a purchase for me. I like the theme of it.
Yeah.
I like a bunch of the changes. I like the streamlining. But you can port a lot of those back over to the original game. It doesn't have that much extra, but it has a bunch of really good things.
Yeah, and if you don't own Everdell, I mean, there's a case to be made that you should buy it. I think my biggest con to that would simply be that the flavor is kind of lost in Farshore. And what I mean by that is the thematics of Farshore are a little more fast and loose, and it's more about the strategy and just building the city. And you don't have that, I don't even know how to explain it, that love for the critters that you do in the original game.
Yeah.
I can just really sum it up to it's really minor, but a change they made where in this game you use anchor tokens to match up critters to the building, which we talked about a little earlier. I think that takes away from the flavor from the original game.
It does.
Because in the original game you have, like a post office and a postal pigeon, and those the critter matches up with the specific building.
The husband and wife with the farm.
The husband and wife with the farm, exactly, where you can play a critter for the building it's made for.
Yeah, and you get excited when that pops up on the meadow. Like, that is definitely something that this game is missing.
Yeah, and I think that what this game has in the card flexibility, it also takes away in A, the flavor, but B, the resources and the freedom. Like, you feel a little more restricted in this game, which of course gives you a little more of a streamlined effect, right?
Yeah, it definitely does.
But the issue is that, in that streamlining, some of the decision space is kind of gone, in my opinion. Like, you don't have as wide of a decision space. Now, the good thing about that is you're not milling through like 100 cards trying to find the one card you need that you can play for free, and I understand why they would make that change.
This is more accessible.
Yeah, but and it's more accessible, but if you've played the original, I don't know, just the flavor's not there. I love the critters.
Yeah, that's like, I think you make a really, really good point on that. It takes a lot out, and like I said, matching up, like when you see that that card pop up in the meadow, like it's so good, and it's like, I want to get that. I don't want somebody else to go for it.
Exactly.
Right? And it affects your strategy as well.
It totally does. And now something I really do like about this game is that the outside the board track.
Yes.
The boat track. That's really cool. I wish it was a little clearer how far the boats were along the track, and we just kind of had to turn them facing away.
The boats are really big. You have to kind of put like the rear end of them, and then like when everybody if at one point all three of us had the same score on the track.
Yeah, we were just like a
so
line.
It was just this big line coming out.
It was like
a
clock,
right?
End of a clock.
Yeah, exactly.
But the concept is really cool, right? Because in the base game of Everdell, it's very easy to just get lost in optimizing the cards you play and having the highest scoring cards and milling through the whole deck till you get them. In this game, it incentivizes you through the separate seasons via public actions to play different cards that match whatever the public action scoring is to move your boat, not necessarily what would be the best for your city.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really cool puzzle. That kind of takes over some of the complexity of having the building match up to the critter.
Yeah,
I don't
like
think it's
that
as
aspect,
thematic.
But
it definitely gives you something to think about. I also think the way they implemented events is really cool this time around. I think
definitely.
Yeah, the change from having to have specific cards in your city to just once you have a certain type of amount of a certain type of card, you just can score the same thing multiple times or just change which one you're scoring is pretty good.
Yeah.
It also adds a lot to the end game scoring and like keeping track of what other people are doing, which is really nice.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I really like what Farshore's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was to recommend Farshore, it would be to someone who doesn't have Everdell at all.
100%.
Or to someone who has the collector's edition and wants something a little more portable.
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah. Or to round out the collection.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's about it, I think. That's probably the cases I would buy it. I still prefer the original game plus any expansion. Just pick one other than the Nightweaver, and that'd be my pick.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be picking up Farshore. I have the base game already. I'll probably be getting an expansion or two. But yeah, it's good. It's fun. If you don't have it, definitely pick it up. It's great, but if it's just an addition to the original game and you've got the expansions and stuff, like, it's probably not bringing enough to the table, right?
And it's definitely, I don't know if I love the streamlining. I have to play it a couple more times, but my first intuition is I don't like it as much as I like it. And I do like certain parts of it and don't like others. Like, I feel like resourcing is way too restrictive, like the amount of resources you get. And then I feel like the playing is a bit too open, as I talked about earlier. Like, you can just kind of do any match and not have to really think about it.
Yeah.
And also, I think that the cards are a lot more impactful. Like, the cards you play and the worker placement locations on those cards are way more impactful on your game than actually properly gathering resources compared to the old game.
Yes, that is definitely true.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
Yeah, either way, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Pick it up. Definitely try it. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Farshore. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you disagree and think we're idiots. We appreciate it. Catch you later.